everyone, welcome to Season 1, Episode 8 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, today we've got Yate in the league. They sit in 11th, and just as I alluded to last episode, I thought it was coming, I could feel it was coming. We are sitting top of the table. It's been going very well recently, some good performances, some good results, and yes, with the run-in fast approaching, we at Truro City sit top of the table. Can we keep that position? Can we win the points today? Let's find out. So, as you can imagine, things have gone very, very well recently. A couple of little minor blips in there, but a slight move in the style of play. I'll talk to you about that a little bit later on. Not a big one, but a small one. And some good results. But before we get into the episode proper, it's my pleasure and my privilege to be able to say that I can welcome another member of my Patreon in today. Griffin Mallet joined my Patreon. Absolutely ecstatic and humbled by that. Every time my notification goes off for another Patreon, it's just mind-blowing to me. It's something that I can never really express my gratitude for enough, but I'm really grateful. And as I've tried to promise with all of my Patreons that join, I'll promise you again that I will try and make the content that you are happy to be supporting me for. I'll always try my very best. So yeah, welcoming Griffin Mallet and the likes of Joe and Nathan and Cassio. I appreciate you all as much as today as I have done those last few weeks, and whether you're a Patreon out there or not doesn't matter to me. You're all part of my United City community, and that's the most important thing. So yeah, amazing start for an episode for me. Let's get into this and see how we're getting on properly at Truro City. So the recent blip came against Weston-super-Mare. It was only a minute one. We got a 0-0 draw. They're a tough cookie to crack. They're sitting currently, I think, in about 4th position or something. They were anyway. Whether they're still there or not, I'm not 100% sure. But they were a really tricky side. But to be honest, they absolutely battered us. They created far more chances than we did. They looked more dangerous than we did. And we hung on in there for a 0-0 draw and a very valuable point. I'm very grateful for that, but it wasn't particularly an amazing match to watch. But surrounding that, through April, we did pretty well. High-scoring games here and there. A 3-2 against Swindon. Gosport we beat 3-1, and then Metropolitan Police we beat 2-1. Hayes was the star of that show, having just come back from his injury. So that was an amazing couple of minutes for him. 14th and 16th minute goals for him. Just having, as I say, come back from that injury and got back into the first team. So things are looking a little bit more settled again in terms of our lineup because he's back, which is great. And today we get Yate sitting in mid-table. Let's go and check out the table. You can see them there sitting in 11th after 32 matches on 43 points. But we sit on 32 matches played on 68 points, top of the table. 1 point clear of Hayes and Yedding. There's a few more points then back to the likes of Tiverton, and there's Weston-super-Mare sitting in 4th. But it's looking pretty promising. We do have a game against Hayes and Yedding coming up though. So that's going to be absolutely crucial to seeing if we can take this top spot, isn't it? But that's for another day. For today, it's about Yate. Can we take the points from them and maintain a good run of form and maintain our league position? Let's hope so. So there were a couple of changes that I alluded to last episode, and one was a personnel change. Riley Lowe has taken over from Dixon at left fullback. Hasn't set the world alight in the last couple of games, but we've been doing all right as a collective, so that's not too bad. Hopefully we'll get some better performances out of him as he settles into that role a little bit more. 6.63 average rating for Dixon, having played quite a number of games. How many games did he play? 27. Just just wasn't good enough, and I think he's on the way out, in truth, just through age and the lack of physicals, etc. But Riley Lowe has been a good deputy. Now he takes that top spot, and we'll see whether he can make it his own over the next few weeks leading up to the end of the season. In terms of the actual style of play, the formation stays the same, and we're still in the kind of slightly route one, but we have dampened that a little bit. If we go into possession, I've just changed two things, and it's these two things. I went from slightly more direct passing to a more standard passing. See if we can shrink down the distance that we're having to move the ball about, and see if we can make ourselves a bit more accurate because of it. And we've also just upped the tempo slightly. We were in the low tempo with the slightly higher passing, so we've moved them both into the standard setting, just to see if we can up the tempo slightly, reduce the amount of distance to cover with the ball slightly, and see as we're on a good run of form and showing that we are a dominant force in the division, whether we can make this work for us moving into next season. And the reason that I've done it now is that when we, other than the fact that we've got Hayes and Yedding coming up in a few games time, between now and then we play quite a few of the slightly lesser sides in the division as the table currently has it. So if we go and look into the division, we've got the games against the bottom side, Merthyr coming up. I think we've got the next side up, Wimborne coming up. We've got Harrow, who is sitting in 15th, Hendon in 13th. Today is 11th place Yate. So there's a lot of teams below the halfway mark in the league that we've got to play over the next few games. It felt like a good opportunity to just shift things up a little bit and see if we can improve our style of play and our accuracy at this point in the season. So that's my thinking. We'll see whether it works. It worked last time out. We got a good win in the last match. So let's see how we get on against Yate today. So for the game against Yate, we've got Hammond in goal, White at right back, Riley Lowe at left back, Collins and Richards in central defence, with Allen, Rooney and Harvey in central midfield, Chamberlain on the right, Hayes on the left and Neil up top, with a bench of Murray, Walker, Dixon, Sangster, Thompson, Garside and Rooney. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So recent form has us in a good place, and the opposition being mid-table, I've gone with an outstretched arms pose for my team talk and suggested to the players that if we play our game, we'll win, and you're more than capable of that. So let's go and do that. We are obviously away from home, which is never a helpful thing, but actually I don't think it's mattered too much to us so far this season, really. I think we're on a very good away run, so I'm pretty confident that we can get the performance if we do what I said, which is just concentrate on our own game, make our chances count when we get them, and pass the ball a little bit better than we have done a little bit in recent matches. We just need to up that accuracy slightly, which is why we've shortened the distance of the passing, just to see if we can do that. But it's Yate on the ball to start off with down the right hand side, but we get a good block in on the cross. Unfortunately, they win the ball, the loose ball in midfield again, and they go over the top this time, and Hammond, the goalkeeper, has an absolute nightmare, doesn't he? He comes out to try and claim the ball, gets stuck in no man's land. It falls so nicely to their attacking player, and with the goalkeeper out in the middle of nowhere, he just manages to head it over the top of him and into the back of the net. And Yate take a 1-0 lead after 25 minutes. And in that 25 minutes, we haven't really seen anything of our own attacking prowess at all. Just as at the point where the Yate goal looked to be offside and wasn't given as such. So it stands, but I think they were very, very lucky. And again, it's their attempt at creating attack for themselves, but we eventually win that ball in the right back area, but go long very early and don't quite manage to find the target, and it means that we put ourselves under pressure again. A good headed clearance from Richards, but again they pick up the loose ball. Another one from White, but again they pick up the loose ball. There is a bit of a pattern coming along here, isn't there? Our ability to find our players up top is not great, but there's a chance. Chamberlain over the top, Neil with a lot to do and could only smash it at the goalkeeper, who manages to parry it over the top of the bar for a corner kick. but at least we're down the other end of the pitch. And he had a header that was completely clear of any challenge, didn't he? But couldn't quite make the most of it. Could probably have brought it down and had a strike at goal. Didn't do so. And then in the end, Yate took it all the way down the other end until it was intercepted, and then we booted it clear. And it's been one of those random games where we don't feel like we're getting going, really. You can see in terms of the match stats, 12 and 7 for them in terms of shots and on-target shots. And for us, it's only 3 and 2. Away from home, that's not great, is it? I think for the second half, because we're away from home, maybe we might go back to that slightly longer ball, but I don't really want to do that so early in changing it. It was only last game that we ultimately made that decision to change the style up a little bit. They're still getting used to it, but a 0.28 XG rating, expected goals rating, is not in any way good enough, is it? So what we're going to do before we do anything else, we are going to throw the water bottle, tell them that we're far from pleased. I don't care whether it upsets any of them. It's time to give them a bit of a kick up the bum, because we should not be losing this game. This is a perfectly winnable match for us, but we had to actually show up. And so far, as is demonstrated there, within 2-3 minutes of the second half, we have not shown up at all. And it's Yate that take a 2-goal lead. A long ball over the top. They win the knock-on. The attacking movement is better than the defensive unit movement. And they go 2-0 up. And at 51 minutes, I'm pausing the game. And we're going to have to do something a little bit drastic about this, aren't we? So, what are we going to do? We are going to go all attacking. We are going to go into a more Route 1 style. We're going to lower the tempo again. It's something that I will revisit, but just for today, away from home, hasn't quite been working, has it? So we're going to do that, but we're also going to make a change of personnel and shape as well. So we've got an issue for Riley Lowe on a low average rating and in danger of being booked also. In the attacking third, we've got the likes of Harvey, our star really, who is not doing well today at all, but I can't afford to take him off potentially, really. I think what we're going to do is we're going to change the shape this way. We're going to take Chamberlain out and we're going to put Rooney in. And we're going to play Rooney and Hayes and Neil up top in a 3. We're going to leave the 3 in midfield as they are, and we're going to use that long ball to see if we can pepper the goal area of Yate and see if we can get anything out of it. I'm not going to make any more changes just at the moment. So we'll change these up slightly. I don't want them on deep lying. I think we'll have a pressing forward. A supporting pressing forward on one side, and on the other side we're going to go with advanced. No, that's the wrong player, isn't it? Which one am I looking for? This one. That's the one I'm looking for. Rooney, we'll put him in as a target man and just see if we can work something between those 3. So we're going to unpause the game and let it play out, and then go straight into the shouts and fire them up for the next few minutes of the match and see if we can get a chance. But again, is Yate with a throw in this time down the right hand side. But there's the difference. The long ball went up to the top guys, now that we've got 3 there, and it's stuck at Rooney. And now we get Neil through on goal. Can he find the shot? He can't, but he drops it back to Rooney. And it's fantastic from Dan Rooney in midfield. A brilliant setup play. We used 2 or 3 of our guys up top to work the ball very nicely. Hayes on the ball, and he drops it into the path of Neil, who eventually gets a little bit lucky there, but drops it back. And does it get a little touch off Neil on the way through? Maybe, but we couldn't possibly take it away from Dan Rooney, couldn't we, from that strike? And we go 2-1 with still 20 minutes to go of the match, really. So we've got plenty of time, 25 minutes at that point. But again, it's Yate down the right-hand side. Can we get the block in and take the ball? We try, and we do. Dan Rooney does so. The long ball doesn't find either of our striking options, though, and it's into midfield with Yate. But the setup defensively looks solid enough. And it's Tunnicliffe down the left-hand side, gets into the box, and they get a really, really simple tap in the 6-yard box. box. And because we took those wide men off and played the narrow striking option, it meant that Tunnicliffe had nobody in that sort of area challenging him until he get into the fullback area for ourselves. And it was too late, wasn't it, really? He had all the space to play with and drops it into the path of Rees in the 6-yard box, and they go 3-1 up. It's a bit of a disaster today so far, and they're going to be having another go, it looks like, with 71 minutes on the clock. We're going to go back into the tactics just before we watch this particular highlight play out. We're going to take Riley Lowe out just because he's obviously not having the best of games and is in danger of getting himself a card. And we don't want that to happen. And then what have we got? We've got Harvey still at a 6.1 average rating. So we're going to put Sangster in and we're going to drop him into midfield. And we're actually going to do this instead. We're going to drop River Allen into the defensive midfield position and just hold that shape a little bit better in defence, I hope. And again, though, we're coming back for another... Oh, please don't give a penalty. He's given a penalty, hasn't he? This is getting embarrassing now. There's a potential 4-1 lead coming up for Yate if they can put this ball in the back of the net, and they do. And what do we do now? 20 minutes still to go. Straight into the tactics. I think we're going to have to change quite a lot. So we're going to push the higher line. We're going to put both of them much higher and try and push in on the gegenpress, I think. So we're going to attempt to gegenpress them in the top half of the pitch. And then when we've got the ball, extremely high tempo, extremely direct passing. We're not going to take it out of defence. We're going to look for the overlaps and we're going to shoot on sight. It's a bit of a kind of a mishmash of stuff, isn't it, really? But at this point, what else can we do? We're so far behind in this game. We're going to distribute to the playmaker. And yeah, I think that's what we're going to do, and just see if that can bring us any joy for the last few minutes of this particular match. So we're going to come out of there, confirm the changes just as they're still celebrating their goal, and then immediately we get the chance, we're going to go back into the shouts and demand more from them for the last 15 minutes of the match. So in we go for that, demand more, and a good chance for us. We've got it in the box, and River Allen picks up the loose ball. Rooney onto Dixon, and Dixon, the person that we'd taken out to the side because he wasn't playing well enough, has come in as a substitute and has absolutely thumped the ball into the back of the net for 4-2. It was a half clearance. River Allen picks it up straight onto Rooney. There's the space for Dixon to drive into. He didn't even need to drive into himself. He absolutely bashes the ball into the back of the net, and 4-2 gives us a little bit of a glimmer of hope. But we have to remain disciplined in defence. We do on this occasion, and we go long to our guys up top, but it doesn't quite work for us. And it's Yate again on the counter-attack. They've worked it nicely out to the right-hand side, cut it into Rees again. And Rees has absolutely put us to the sword every time he's given a chance, hasn't he, really? My tongue has gone completely. I can't get my words out. Being given a chance. But yeah, it was a good bit of play. Rees was involved in the play early on, and then our defence just don't cope with him at all, do they? They don't go with any of his runs. They're on their back foot when the ball goes through, and we are getting absolutely thumped. Oh dear. It's not like today was the first time I changed a couple of the tactical bits up either. We played it in the last game and did very well. And we've given away another penalty. And it could be a 6-2 thumping in a second. I just want to go home at this point, to be honest. It's kind of dreadful. Oh, boy. Oh, it's a good penalty. Good... Yay. What on earth has gone on here? Just at the point where we're reaching critical moments in this division, in this league season, should I say, we absolutely fold without a trace. Now, obviously, I've changed a lot of things in the last sort of 20 minutes of the game to try and get back into it. But that wasn't the reason we went down in the first place, was it? 7-2, anyone? It's ridiculous. I'm going to pause the game. We've still got a couple minutes left and I can't allow this to continue. So we're going to put wide men back in and we're just going to have to find a way to go long ball again if we can. So we'll go back to our Route 1 routes and just see how that does for the last few minutes of the game. Nothing has worked today at all. I'm sure there are 73 different errors that you'll all point out to me in the comments below that I should or shouldn't have done or did or didn't do or whatever. But today, it's just been one of those days where it has not worked. And it's this guy, Reese. I don't know what he's been taking, but whatever it is, I want some for my team because whatever he's been doing, it's quite special, isn't it? 5 goals against us today, and our central defence could not in any way live with him at all. And I've got to go and have a look at what his ratings are, his attributes are, should I say. Because if he's not like Messi, then something's gone wrong. And it's the pace, isn't it? Pace and acceleration of 13 and 12 is like double what we've got in our defensive unit. He's not got a lot elsewhere, but he's got decent enough finishing and flair. And that's all it takes sometimes. The right player in the right place at the right time. Humph. That's kind of embarrassing. And why did we have to do it on an episode when everybody's watching? Why couldn't it be just hushed up in a corner because it happened 2 games ago when nobody else was watching? I don't know. I'm not going to overanalyze this performance by any stretch. There's no point. But let's just check in on the XG because they had an XG of 4.06 and they got 7 goals from it. So they still overperformed on what their XG suggested. And our XG of 0.59, we got 2 goals from it, which is reasonable. But nothing of today's performance was good enough, was it? So we go straight into the dressing room and we absolutely thrash the arms about. Not good enough. There's no excuses for that sort of performance. 7-2 is going to absolutely decimate our goal difference compared to our rivals. And it's also going to lose us ground on those around us who potentially now have the chance to overtake us at the top of the table. I'm absolutely stunned by it. We've had some high-scoring games this season, but nothing like that at all. And we have dropped down a place. And we're in second again by 2 points to Hayes and Yedding. Beating them now in the next few weeks when that comes up is absolutely essential, isn't it? But Yate was sitting in mid-table. And let's go and just check out their recent schedule. They've been on such a poor run. They turned it round against Beaconsfield with a 3-0 win just before our game. And then they absolutely destroyed us. Not impressed by that at all. It didn't give me an opportunity to get all of these players in for training tomorrow because, of course, we're on part-time contracts and stuff. They're not all around tomorrow. But I would have dragged them in, absolutely, if I could have. And there's got to be an inquest after that one, after such a complete and utter disaster. But there we are. My head's in a bit of a spin with that one, really. 7-2. Oh, I've even preemptively gone into the the schedule page without allowing the chapter divide to do that. So, yeah, it's going really well this episode. I hope you're having a lot of fun at home watching me struggle. Sometimes I think YouTube content is better when the person playing it is struggling, but there's struggling and then there's 7-2, for goodness sake. Anyway, let's move on. We've got 2 games to go in terms of episodes before the end of the season, and I've changed it around slightly. What we had coming up was this one here, was Tiverton, but they've dropped off the pace a little bit, and the game just before it is the big crunch match against Hayes and Yedding, so that is what we're going to come back for next episode. Between now and then, we've got Harrow, Wimborne and Merthyr. And there's some winnable matches in there, but not if we play like we did today. I suspect I might be reverting back to the long ball that got us to this point in the first place. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, what an absolute disaster. Anyway, thanks for watching. I don't know why you got this far into the video, to be honest. I think I'd have switched off halfway through the second half, but well done you for reaching this point. Anyway, Subscribe to the channel if you want to watch me lose my mind completely with these sorts of results as they come in. Click that like button for me for some mental reason. I don't know. I'll see you next time though, I hope. Bye for now.